What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the CultureVerse podcast. Today, we're going to be doing another new movie review. We all went and saw the new Jurassic World Rebirth movie, directed by Gareth Edwards, that just came out. So, let's just kind of dive right into that one. Also, if you guys hadn't checked it out already, go check out Tyler's rankings of the original six movies. Make sure
Stop.
you go check those
Stop.
out. You gotta see what Tyler thinks. But
He speaks for the
yeah, let's
trees. That's us.
let's
For the trees.
Yes.
let's get right into this one. So, I mean, I think one of the places I kind of wanted to start is this. In one way, the story feels like it's attempting to be its own thing and a spin-off, but at the same time, I've been seeing a lot of people talking about how it feels like they're kind of just copying and pasting like bits and pieces of the originals with I mean, like, how many times can you really have a story about going to the island and getting stuck on the island and surviving the dinosaurs on the island and like, so I don't know, what were you guys' thoughts on like the story itself, unless you wanted to start somewhere else, but if
The
anyone had.
story itself was very uninteresting to me.
Oh, the story is not good. No.
No.
I
This
kind of what Gabe was saying there is how I would probably tend to be on the side of where they tried to play it safe and kept it similar to the Jurassic Park movies. But just in the fact that we talked about this yesterday too, where you can have a formulaic type of movie with simple structure and be good, like with F1. But you're seeing a movie with Jurassic Park where it tries to go for the low hanging fruit. And the fact of the matter is what we're seeing is not that interesting. And the characters aren't built enough to be that invested in the movie. So that's unfortunately where it missed the most for me. And I know kind of maybe missed the mark for you guys, probably the highest as well.
I mean, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head when you bring up characters. At no point in this movie do you really get introduced to a character that you're like genuinely excited about. I mean, sure, there might be characters like Caleb, you said you liked who was it,
Ruben.
Ruben more than others, or like I didn't mind Dr. Henry, but like no, none of the characters have me like ready to get out of my seat and start clapping because they survived at the end. Like none of the characters I'm genuinely cheering for. I just don't care. Like, and that's really bad for these movies because, as we know with the originals, with the first six movies, if you don't hit on your human only moments and scenes and characters, that's a really bad sign because then you're relying so heavily on the dinosaurs to do all the heavy lifting. This movie, instead of just relying on your dinosaurs to do the heavy lifting, for the first hour, you just get people, and they're people that are not interesting, are brand new, and have no like actual qualities that like make you care about them. And then they try to like drop some unnecessary lore to make you care about their emotions with Zora and her friend who died in war, and then Duncan whose kid died. And they just dropped that scene on the boat where they're like emotional and talking about it. And you're looking around like, I don't give a shit. Like, I truly don't care
uh
because I don't care about the people in this movie. They're not interesting. Their stories are just half-assed and incredibly basic. And that's the first hour of the movie. So it gets to the point where, and I saw someone wrote this review, it gets to the point where you're almost like cheering for the dinosaurs. Like, I don't want the people to die, but I'm like, can I
well,
see a dinosaur do something cool? Like, I want to see that. And I told you guys this earlier before we started recording, but if you really want to go see this movie because you're like hyped up about the dinosaurs, you see a good 80% of the dinosaurs in the trailer, and that's about it. I mean,
mhm.
there's extended scenes and they're longer than that. There's one scene in particular that I think did pretty good with the river. That they did pretty solid with the
Yeah.
river scene. But other than that, you see all the dinosaurs you really are gonna see in the trailer. They even like I about to say rage bait. They hook you by adding the line in the trailer where they're like, "Please don't tell me it's raptors," and he goes, "It's raptors." That's just not in the movie. It's not. And there are not. There is a raptor in the movie for about 10 seconds, then it gets killed, and you never see another. I mean, I guess those things at the end are raptor hybrids, but they don't feel like the raptors are supposed to.
Mhm.
So I'll let somebody else talk, but where I'm going with that is essentially the humans were just incredibly poor and horribly written. And then, as I'll get into more later, I was not all that impressed with most of the dinosaur stuff. There were a few good moments, but yeah, I'll let somebody else kind of take the reins while I'm. Go on.
Well, I can't stress this enough. If you're gonna make a dinosaur movie, put dinosaurs in the movie, please.
Yeah.
If, like, honestly, I could care less if the human element is bad as long as you give us cool dinosaurs and cool dinosaurs doing cool things. Like Jurassic Park 3, there is some pretty bad human elements in that movie, but the dinosaurs are amazing, which makes it so fun. But in this movie, you get both bad.
You
There's
get
terrible
nothing.
humans, there's
Yeah.
no dinosaurs, it's this is a terrible movie. Spoilers for my rating, but this is a terrible
He
movie.
acts like this right now. You can't believe it.
I can believe it. I'm
Well,
just like, I'm not gonna say like I'm the other side of the coin or playing devil's advocate because I agree with what, like, there's multiple points as I'm listening through where I'm like, oh, I don't know if I believe that all the way, but then there's other things where I'm like, yeah, very true. And so like for me, I actually like the idea of this story and the concept
The
itself
idea
is
is
fine.
cool.
The concept gives good motivation to their characters. Like, some of them are in it for money, that's expected. But then you have people doing it for like the science or for a cure that could genuinely save people. And some of them have like mixes of like Scarlett Johansson as like a mix of money and kind of wanting to help people with their mom and whatever, even though they don't write that in very well. And then like I told Caleb in the car afterwards, I was like, they are really lucky that they put in that family because I would not have cared about like any of these characters if they weren't there. And then on the flip side of that coin, you knew the entire movie that none of them were in danger. That family was no one in that family was dying. So there's kind of
Unfortunately.
like uh okay.
The boyfriend.
Yeah, I kind of
Don't even get me. I'll get into that. You keep going.
um I'm just saying like
Yeah, you knew. They're not going to show you a
yeah,
kid and kill it.
that's my biggest problem is they have like they have badass actors. Let me be clear. They have badass actors, but they don't capitalize on the potential that this like plot idea and character concepts that they have. They don't write it in that well. They don't do their exposition for their characters well. Gabe mentioned they just like I think you called it lore dumping on the boat. Like that's like history of the characters we either show like right off the bat or we like build back into it. They don't just literally sit down and just say, I lost something once at the dinner table. And then that's how we get our
Uh,
information about our characters. So, like, I don't know if that makes sense how I'm kind of like, I do like the premise and I like where we're going. I mentioned this to you guys as well. I really like the idea of them like doing the experiments and like crossbreeding dinosaurs because that's how we got Jurassic World. That's what happened with like the Indominus Rex. Like they literally did T-Rex and Velociraptor, and that's how we got that. So it's actually cool to like put that in between there, that like little bit of lore, except for we don't really do anything with it. It's like we see the Distortus Rex, which for one is literally just a Rancor from Star Wars, by the way.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Um, and except for it's goofier looking than that. That's like really the only one we see. The Raptor pterodactyls, like those are like they don't even really look that like I just assumed they were some random ass flying dinosaur. I was like, oh, that's Raptor, and I figured that out after the movie because I don't even think they said it.
They don't.
So it was just like I just that we could have done so much more with that. That could have been a scarier concept. That's another thing I would like to add is I think this movie could have performed a lot better if it was rated R. At least like maybe not perform better box office wise because it's gonna make money for better or worse, but
the reception.
like in terms of reception or how much we enjoyed it because I also told Caleb there's two good deaths in this movie.
I
Not that I'm
argue
like a
one.
maniac and I need to see like 75 people die, but the one guy who gets eaten by the terror, the big ass Quatza,
The
whatever.
egg ones, yeah.
Yeah, I
The
can't
guy that
pronounce
gets
that dinosaur. That's
swallowed.
just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that dude
I
getting
didn't think
swallowed
that
on
one was
screen. Like
cool, but
I thought that was a good death, and then obviously the Doctor Doom getting bitten in half, which you could have we knew that was
don't do
happening
it.
like an hour and a half before. But it was still like it was a good death on the screen is what more so what I meant. The
I
problem with it is just the writing is just not very good and it's just a predictable movie. And
yeah,
it falls into a lot of tropes.
the characters are so hollow, and it's a paint by number of each character. Like you can sit down as soon as the boat crashes, you know where the movie is heading exactly. Like wonder you can call what's going to happen to this character. Jack and I
Caleb.
were Jack and I were
Yeah,
just
the
listing
over
off his
under.
character. Like over
Caleb,
under
tell him
five
about the
minutes
over
till this
under.
guy dies. And we were like, well, I don't know, because he's definitely dead. And
Caleb.
I I know Tyler was doing the same thing too, apparently, but because it's so obvious. Like Mahershala Ali is not going to die in this movie. He hasn't done a movie in 3 years. Why would he sign up for a one movie installment? There's just no chance that's going to happen. So
And they try
I don't
so
think.
hard to like act like it's this heroic death at the end. You're just sitting there like, so when's he gonna show up again? Because he's not dead. Like
Yeah.
we're not. Come on, bro. Like, and it's that's like it's one thing to do that a couple times, but it starts to feel like they're just like smacking you across the face with like calling you stupid when they just keep doing the same predictable crap over and over and over. I mean, there were so many lines, so many jokes, so many action scenes where Tyler and I would just look at each other and like say, in 30 seconds, this is what's going to happen. And then it happens, and you're like, you could have at least like if you that's already a hard thing to do as a director. If you're going to make predictable situations, you're already putting yourself into a hard situation. But the least you could do is not do the most predictable outcome. And they did it every single time. Every time there was a predictable situation, you knew exactly how it was going to go. And that is just lazy. That's so lazy.
it's uninspiring.
You're just relying on people like ignoring that because they're like, "Oh, look, a dinosaur." And it's like that's not how that works. Like I'm not just going to ignore everything this movie offers in terms of actual filmmaking because there's a cool dinosaur at the end. Like that's never been how I approach these movies. That never will be how I approach these movies. And like it's just if you show like actual good dinosaurs, then maybe you can get away with that. But like Jack mentioned with the one at the end, the D Rex or whatever, that thing was just not that good. I mean, it just wasn't. Like it was literally just a rancor, like Jack said, but weirder looking. It also was just not intelligent at all. If you had a light, it would just go to the light. Like that was it. It wasn't that hard to get away, clearly. Assuming what happened, because they didn't show us, I'm assuming Duncan just set the flare down or threw it and just followed the flare because it just follows the light. Like it's not that smart. At least in some of the older ones, they're intelligent, and that makes them intimidating. Because this one was just not. But like, it's just cliche. It's cliche, predictable, poorly acted, poor characters. Like, and then it's just them crossing their fingers that they used enough money in the CGI to make the dinosaurs look cool enough. And it's like that just doesn't cut it. Like that you don't get away with that nowadays. You just don't. Oh, apparently they do because I've been seeing a lot of good reviews on this movie, and
Yeah,
I
I
am struggling to
it has
understand
like a what 75% of Rotten Tomatoes, which is
No, the
something
fan
like that.
score, yeah, the fan score is pretty high. The actual critic score is not great, but
Well, they're usually pretty
um,
cruel unless it's like an Academy winning type movie.
well, I mean,
But
yeah, and I mean, this is just a movie that's a summer blockbuster that is going to make a lot of money, and so they're going to continue to make more movies
mm,
like this. I just think that this movie really struggles to hook you at all. Like I told Jack too, the first act of this movie I think is disastrous, easily the worst. Because and that's the part that you have to capitalize the most on if you're going to do like to me it's an Asubid trilogy, especially when you're just in like in a franchise like Jurassic Park or World, you have to kind of like make spin-offs like that. I think you have to capitalize on making these characters likable, and I keep going back to that because I just you're devoid of any emotion towards the movie when the characters you can't see yourself in them. If there's not any redeeming qualities about them, or the following incredibly cliche tropes like the boyfriend who is just upfront not a good person, and then it's like he's going to make some saving attempt. Like you have to spin it a little better than that. It's just not, to me it just comes off as like I said, low hanging fruit. Like this is
yes,
basically just like begging you to buy into the dinosaurs. And
yes,
I like dinosaurs are cool. The sound design for them was really cool in this movie.
hmm
It's seeing them in theater when they like yells is awesome. Like that's
yeah,
a really cool moment. But that's it. Like
yeah.
it's a 2.5 hour movie, and the
It-
best part might be a dinosaur scream. Like I don't.
and
So
that's crazy, but like that's true. Like that, and that just shows how like much like you said, Caleb. They're pretty much begging you to just take that bait and be like, there was a really cool T Rex in that movie, and that's all I'm going to take from this. And it's like, no, that's not all I'm going to take from this. It took us an hour 20 just to get there. And you also point that out, Caleb. This movie is just frankly too long. Like
way too
it's just
long.
too long. It is like it just should not have been this long. And half of that is because we took an hour to get to the island and actually show dinosaurs. So, like, you just killed it with in terms of like a bad version of killed it. Like you massacred it. Like you did poorly. And part of that like beginning phase is that first act. You need to give a call to action that makes the audience intrigued into where we're going, and that just never kind of happens other than just saying we're going to an island that has dinosaurs. And it's like, we've been doing this for 6 movies. We know that. Like, we knew that from the trailer. You need to do something that's intriguing. There should have been some sort of twist, some sort of massacre on the island that we learn about. Something instead we just get a boat ride where we meet a family that's just for some reason, by the way, Duncan was absolutely right when he was like, "Why were you going across the sea with your kids?" It was like, are you dumb, dude? Like, why are you doing this? You know this is like dangerous as hell. But whatever. We get introduced to this family, and then like Caleb said with the boyfriend, they play the most predictable garbage trope of he's this moron and he's low. No one likes him, but then he jumps to risk his life to save her. And then they had that scene where they're all sleeping and he's talking to the dad and he's like, "If she really knew the real me, she wouldn't even love me." I was like, I don't feel bad for you at all, bro. Like,
He
We
listens
also
to
don't
Bart
even know what
Simpson
he's
edits.
talking about.
yeah, he never said,
Like, what?
is he
Are
like
you a
a
murderer?
assassin? Like, what is he talking about?
Inside of you, there are two wolves.
Well, and then it ends up
Stop.
making you. Well, then like halfway through, you're genuinely like hoping he gets attacked, and he never does. And instead, he's like this hero, and you're like,
I was hoping everybody got attacked.
I, kind of like
I
something needed to
Except
happen.
Dolores. Dolores needed to live.
that
Well,
yes.
then the one time we see the big attack is when, and by the way, the lead up to the whole river scene, the older daughter, is a dumb ass. She was doing everything in her power to wake up that T Rex. Whether it was just dragging shit, throwing things around, yelling, opening, like, she could not have been louder. But then when we finally get a big chase scene, the one it comes down to is the youngest daughter. It's like, obviously, we know
Yeah, she's gonna
she's
die.
not going to die. Like, why didn't you
It
use
bites
the
the raft. It's like,
boyfriend?
oh god, she's dead, isn't she?
Yeah, well, like use the boyfriend as the guy who's trying to get away because we actually might believe he could die because no, like he's less important.
Yes,
But
the 8-year-old daughter gets absolutely torn to shreds
exactly
on the
in
big
the
screen.
PG-13
In a
movie.
PG-13 movie.
Yeah. And they try to do this shit where like the T-Rex picks up the boat and they're all screaming and you're just sitting there like, where is she? Did she
Oh, by the
swim
way,
up?
the inflatable raft does not pop when it's in the T-Rex's mouth and it's biting
Best.
down on it.
What brand of raft was that?
And
Because I'm buying one.
and the goofiest, it was like
Cartoon
Tyler, you and I
pop.
said this. It was like straight out of a cartoon. The goofy way it shoots out of the water, like,
Oh my
"Ding,
god.
here's your raft." I was like,
How does a raft
Stop.
that floats on water stay underwater that long?
yeah, just long enough so that way when they're like,
It
"What
was
else do we do?"
re-inflating.
Oh yes, re-inflating.
The
The
dinosaur
hole
breathed
was
life
being
into it.
patched. No, but it was just it's just not good. Like it's simply just not good, and it's so frustrating because like these issues that we talk about with the writing are things that just shouldn't be hard to fix. Like it's not that hard. That's what blows my mind is you're just given this movie and just told to like it because it's Jurassic World and it's dinosaurs. And it's like I'm not no, we're like that's not what I'm gonna buy.
Tyler and I did this at the exact same time.
Dude, when the
Because it was
T-Rex
the best
roared,
part
I
of the
did
movie.
that.
It's the only good
We-
part. It's easily the best part of the movie, and it does, and it actually, the T-Rex actually doesn't do anything. Like he does
He
that
almost
roar,
gets him.
and then he goes away, and you don't see him
He
again.
was clip farming.
Bro
He
was
learned how to-
walking
he
in
learned how to
he was
swim.
walking in slow motion the entire time.
He
Yeah, that was
learned
cool.
how
He
to
was like-
swim, so he's now better than the Spinosaurus officially.
It's
T-Rexes
just
already were.
it's just frustrating. Man. It's just and talking about the villain as well, the millionaire. He's just
Dr.
not.
Doom?
He's just a terrible villain, by the way. Like not just nothing about him other than just this guy's a douche. Like you just know he's a jerk and you're waiting for him to die the whole movie. Like nothing about him is actually intriguing at all. And I was like genuinely mad at the scene towards the end when they get to the helicopter landing pad and they meet the family and like in the middle of this intense moment where they need to survive. That older daughter just starts screaming about killing this guy, and he's like, "No, I didn't let her drop." And it's just like, is this really the time to be doing? Like, it felt
I'm
like
homicidal.
it felt like, yeah, I'm homicidal. It felt like those moments in like horror movies where the teens just start arguing about like their relationship, and it was like, what are we doing? Like,
And
are
Scarlett
we
Johansson
serious?
had the worst 5 seconds of acting I've ever seen her. She just
When she was
she's
yelling
like,
at them.
"Hey, stop." Like what was
Yes.
that was horrible. That little cut they added in.
Yeah.
That was
Oh
awful.
no.
Comparable to that.
Is
It's
it?
just
That was not good.
unfortunate, man. It's just it just kind of leaves you scratching your head and thinking like I don't know. I don't want to say it's like offensive, but it does almost feel to me like they're just expecting you to just sit there and not call out the problems with the movie because they gave you dinosaurs. And it's like that hasn't worked in the past. Like Tyler was pointing out the other day, and I agree with you, Tyler. If you really look at the Jurassic series, there are not as many good movies as that we think. Like
No.
it's not some amazing, stellar, perfect franchise. It just has super high highs, but then it's got some low lows. Like that. Like looking at the ratings as well, like on Letterboxd, like people, this is a pretty common belief. So I'm not really sure why this is like a new thing where people are like, it almost like they feel like they have to talk about how good it is, and it's just not like.
Jurassic Park carries so hard.
And the first Jurassic World is
Jurassic
also
World is good.
very good. The
Yeah.
original Jurassic World, but like Jurassic World 2 and 3 are just not
Oh
good from my
no.
memory, and especially not the third one. I haven't seen the second one in a long time, but
Jurassic World 2, 3,
Dominion is
and
just
4.
terrible. Like Dominion is just awful. And
Mhm.
like Tyler said in his review about it, it's literally the end game of the Jurassic World series and they bomb it. So that's just awful. And I mean, I guess I haven't seen the Jurassic Parks in a long time, the originals. I've seen the first one, don't get me wrong. But like from what I've heard, like 3 is enjoyable and two's got enjoyable moments. But my point here is like this isn't like the Marvel franchise
Overrated.
I'm talking about. Like so I just don't understand this like everybody and their mother saying that this movie is like amazing. And I'm just not on the train where I'm just gonna take it and be like, they gave me dinosaurs, so
Gabe's putting his foot down.
I am. I've had
Yeah,
enough.
I did not realize how staunchly Gabe was against the Jurassic Park franchise.
I didn't say I'm astonishingly against it. I'm just saying it's there.
Staunchly.
It's not phenomenal. Like it's
Yeah, I know.
got its
It's not
issues.
that good.
I like the
This is my
franchise.
third one I've seen of like the seven, so I don't really care.
Like
Of
I
the
this,
have
7,
seen
4 of them for me have a 2-star or less.
I-
um
I'd probably be
I
around
haven't
Is
there.
this
like
seven?
I didn't go
I don't know.
it's seven.
This is
Mhm.
I
7.
didn't go through and rewatch all of them, but based off of how I have it, I think I only have one or two of them with a negative rating.
What's considered a negative rating? Like
Less than two
below
and a
two
half.
and a half.
Less than
Okay.
2.5.
2.5
Kill
I
this guy.
consider neutral.
So
Hey
you
Jack,
only have
I've
2?
Jack,
That
I
means
wanted
you
to
like Lost
invite you
World.
to
Oh
do
my
a
god.
rant or
Jack,
a
you have
discussion of the.
Jurassic Park rated as a 2. Jurassic Park 3. Sorry, 3.
Yeah,
The guy
that's one of the
buckle.
two.
So you have the second Jurassic World is higher than a 2.5.
No, I have that one at a two as well, or lower than
You
two
have
too.
Dominion higher than 2.5.
I have it at three.
Unreal.
Everyone hates that
Dominion's
movie.
terrible.
I've just kind of like quietly liked it and just kind of didn't say
Rise of
anything about
Skywalker moment. It's not as bad as it.
We're not
it.
getting
What
That's
into
did
my
you
point.
just say?
My point is it's not as bad as people say. So,
we're not
anyways,
No,
getting
Jack,
into
it's as bad as people say.
I wanted Jack to do a discussion about the
I
product
just
placement stuff.
I
You're
just I
talking
just
about
quietly I just quietly like these movies more than the average, I think. But what about product placement?
You had like a good. You talked about the product placement, like how it differs in Jurassic Park in this movie.
Oh, I mean, in Jurassic World they do a good job. In Jurassic Park 1, they literally only have like I can only think of one major product placement and it's with the Barbasol, but they like genuinely tie it into the plot so it makes sense. But Jurassic World is just stacked full of product placement, but they do it in a way
Verizon
that's like
Wireless Indominus
yeah,
Rex.
exactly. Where she goes like Verizon Wireless introduces the Indominus Rex, and Jake Johnson's in there is like, oh my god, why don't we just let them name the dinosaurs? And I think the two he comes up with is Tostito Don and Pepsi Saurus. Like that's funny. Like I realize that they're still doing the advertisements and taking the money, but at least they're like
Ironic.
making jokes about because they're making jokes about the corporate greed that of the park that literally gets them all killed. So like it's kind of funny. It kind of makes sense. Obviously, they're still taking the money. Who wouldn't? But like this movie, they're like, look, Snickers wrapper in the
Oh my
Oh
lab,
my
and it's
god.
gonna let
I
out the T
forgot
Rex.
about
The
that.
entire lab just goes under because of the Snickers wrapper. But
I
it was Snickers.
completely
Remember
forgot
that?
about that.
They
Yeah.
could have used like a made up generic candy wrapper or something. They're like, hey, Snickers.
Or like
They're like
not
10
use a
million.
candy wrapper.
Just
Or
have
yeah, or have
not
the
do
write
dinosaur
anything.
just
write something logical, please.
or have the ginormous six appendage dinosaur just break out. How about that? I'm pretty sure it could have just done that.
Yeah.
Probably.
I
It
I
was
can't-
literally
I
like the
literally
biggest thing
forgot
we've
about
ever
that.
seen.
I
That
just it's so interesting when you like buy into the satirical nature of like the products in your movie, and that's kind of like funny. But when this is like so blatantly just like annoying, that's a whole different second category. And when Jack brought that up, I was like, that's very true. So I just wanted you to highlight that.
It just kind of, I was just like thinking about how much better Jurassic World does it. Even though they have way more product placement, it doesn't piss me off.
Yeah.
And now I'll see a Snickers wrapper at the store. I'll be like, fucking candy bar.
What
I
a
feel like after the whole
It's all your fault.
I feel like after the whole Snickers scene, Tyler and I kind of gave each other that look that was like,
It's gonna
oh
be bad, isn't
wow,
it?
yeah, that was when I
this
knew.
is how
Yeah.
we're starting. Like
Not even 5 minutes into the movie,
the
and I was
fact,
like,
and it's the way he
"Oh,
does it too.
okay."
Like you could have easily, like I would have even liked more if it just like fell out of his pocket, but he literally just like spits it out on the floor and just leaves it there. Like, why did he do that? Like it was so unnecessary. And then to believe that it just shuts down the entire lab. Like what?
Yeah. So you have, and that's another difference between these movies. In this movie, everything goes to shit and the dinosaur gets out because of a Snickers wrapper. In the original Jurassic Park, it's because one of their employees is like pissed and intentionally sabotages their park because he doesn't feel he's being treated right. In Jurassic World, the dinosaur freaking evolves and
Yeah.
camouflages and tricks them. In this one, it's like, oops, I accidentally dropped my wrapper. Guess everyone's dead now.
And
My
that's
bad, guys.
and that's just like another like example of this movie just pretty much telling
Yeah.
you close your eyes whenever something bad is happening. Don't worry, a dinosaur's going to show up in a bit. Like they just
There's
want
just
you
a
to
lot of
ignore it.
logic.
And it's like I'm like I've complained about the logic in the Jurassics that I've rewatched, but none of them are looking bad anymore. Hell, I might up my rating on
Yeah,
those other ones.
Lost World looks pretty good,
Yeah,
honestly.
those movies are suddenly getting a lot better now that I've seen that. Like the logic is just out the window, and it's just so frustrating. Like I don't, it can't just be an excuse anymore to just be like, but they're dinosaurs, and it's like you can you can try to pass for that, but the dinosaurs have to be way better than they were if you're gonna do that, and they just weren't that good, frankly. I mean, it's just I don't even think boring is the right word. It's more so just annoying. You're just
Maybe
frustrated by the
boring.
whole thing. Like it's just I don't know. It's just dumb. It's just dumb. But I'll let somebody else pick up if they had something else they wanted to point out because I don't know, man. Oh, I also wanted to add this is not yeah,
Sorry.
sorry. Uh
Yeah.
just not don't get me wrong. I will forever love John Williams' score, but just consistently using that and that's it, and no other music and no other score is becoming a cop out.
You lost me, son.
No, it's a cop out. You can
Play
use
that in
it
the
in the
entire
movie.
movie,
No, you can use that
please.
in big moments, but like do something original. Like you can use it in like the big moment they do it when he sees the really long-necked ones. I don't even know what those are with the long tails.
Brachiosaurus?
Titanosaurus.
Is it though?
Titanosaurus.
Sure. And that scene's awesome. Like I
Oh my
love when
God.
they did that. But that movie, I swear, played the theme like every three scenes you could hear the theme, or at least a version of it. Like
In
you
this movie,
Yes.
yes,
ask Caleb. I there was multiple moments where I said, "Why are we not playing the theme?"
because
I
we're
can do that.
overplaying the theme.
No, it was played any chance they had the chance to play it, they played it.
And
No, they
and
didn't.
like it's
Yes, they
still
did.
it's a great theme. It's an
Should have been
incredible
more.
theme. And they use it most of the movies use it very well. When you're just playing it because you can, stop. Like they're like, "Look guys, it's the John Williams theme." And it's like,
I will
"We
say they played it at the
know."
wrong moments because there was moments that I wanted it, and then I literally leaned over and said, "But now we're gonna play it,"
They
because there was different
it was
points where I wanted it.
that wasn't like something I'm gonna write down in my cons, but that was something that I just remember thinking like I have heard this 14 times now. And it was like it's great. Let's do something original or something different. It can't be that hard.
I think it was Jack that said that they gave John Williams the same offer they gave Zora's character with the 6 zeros to just have his score in the movie for the entire thing.
Every time a
Hey,
second
hey,
of life he
John.
gets paid.
Hey, John, we're making a new Jurassic Park movie, and he's like, "The usual," and they're like, 10 million.
Yeah, just constantly for every second the song plays,
Another 20 million for
it's an
John
extra
I
Williams.
don't even
1,000.
think he's credited as the composer. I think they're just using his work, so I don't think he even had to do anything.
No, they just change it a little bit and make it more like cinematic sounding, or they
Yeah,
just
I mean,
add the piano and then they're like, here it is.
sometimes the piano was hard, but listen to the Jurassic World. When they do it softly in Jurassic World, it works.
Like I said, the older movies do it well. Like I think this is the first time where I've literally been like, I don't want to hear this anymore, which is something I've never felt in the past. Like you're overusing it. Don't do that. The other movies have never overused it, in my opinion. This one, I was just like, we have been listening to this for 25 minutes now. Like,
When they were
please
driving back on the
stop.
boat at the end, Dolores should have came back and said, "I won't forget you, buddy." And
Gloria says that. Gloria speaks.
Oh, I forgot to
I
mention this
knew she
too.
was an evolved
You mean
dinosaur.
Least
Dolores?
obvious
Did you say
Fortnite
You
Gloria?
mean
backbling.
Who's
Dolores, by the
Gloria?
way?
What? Who are you talking to?
You said
Who's
Gloria.
Gloria?
Dolores.
Gloria!
Go on with your
What?
Fortnite
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
propaganda.
I thought
Look out.
least
I
obvious
think Moto
Fortnite
Moto
backbling.
likes
Stop
you.
it.
Shut up. Yes, Caleb, it is the least obvious back bling of all time. It's coming.
I can't believe they put Scarlett
That's the
Johansson in
point you
Fortnite.
wanted to make?
It's what, Gabe?
That's the point you wanted to
It,
make.
Yes, it's very it's we need to hear that.
you want to talk about advertisement and product placement? Caleb's ass like, make it a Fortnite skin. What are you even saying? You literally broke the sound barrier there.
I believe he was
I
saying I
need
love Fortnite.
Fortnite.
Oh,
I
okay.
need
It's
Fortnite.
You don't
worse.
even play.
Yeah, but capitalism.
He would have
Yeah, but
He would
capitalism.
if Dolores was a back bling.
That's true.
Then
And
he'd
Star
be
No,
playing
you
Trek.
wouldn't.
Fortnite.
No, you wouldn't have.
Yeah, no.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Caleb, stop playing God of War Ragnarok and start playing Fortnite again.
No.
Gabe's
Okay,
face.
let's get to our recaps.
Sorry, that was bad. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll get on to the ratings and reviews. So anybody want to start?
You,
Oh, Gabe goes.
Tyler, I meant
Oh, you want me to go? All right. I wait. I didn't. I wasn't ready for this.
Tyler.
Then I'll
Go.
go. I'll go.
Okay. Let's
Yeah, you're
start.
right. Yeah.
Hear ye, hear ye. All right.
Well, this is by far the worst Jurassic Park movie of the entire franchise. This makes Dominion look good. The writing is awful. The characters are just unlikable, and there's little to no good dinosaurs in this movie. And I can't stress this enough. I already said this, but how do you fail at making dinosaurs good in a dinosaur movie? That should be like your number one priority. And many times, over and over again in this franchise, they fail to do it. So I have this movie at a 1.5.
Caleb, you want to go or you want me to go?
You can go now.
Oh shit. Okay.
Oh, I mean, you're not
No,
ready.
I got it. I'm locked. The lights are no longer too bright. I locked in. All right, you go, Caleb.
Okay. In summary, this movie just
In
really
summary,
kind of failed to hook me from the very beginning, and that led to a super underwhelming experience. I thought the characters were completely hollow, the plot lines were generic, and the left and right just nonsensical nature of the movie just left a bad taste in my mouth. I thought the dinosaurs looked cool, the sound design for them was good, and the chase scenes were pretty cool. And the Jurassic score, is that I did like it. Those were like the only redeeming qualities. So that tells you anything. I really don't have a lot to say about this movie because it's just devoid of much emotion, and I was really disappointed. So I also would not recommend. I was at a 2.5 until we had our discussion last night, and I subsequently dropped it to a 2 because it's just not that good.
Fair enough. All right. Yeah, this movie relies pretty heavily on you just ignoring any serious cinematic issues because they just show you big CGI dinosaurs. And even with that, they're not that good compared to other movies. The plot is very poor at times, the acting is poor, the characters are just not intriguing. And if you want to see a movie with the most predictable cliches of all time, this is your film. So, while there were some good moments with some of the dinosaurs, all of it's pretty much weighed down by a horrifically predictable and just straight up uninteresting story with characters that do nothing but also weigh it down. So I was very disappointed by this movie. It had its moments that were good, but overall, not what I wanted. So I'm at a 2 out of 5.
For me, I really enjoyed the concept and framework that we had going in this movie. I thought that was interesting off the start, but then we really just don't do a lot with it. There's a lot of missed potential in this movie. The characters just end up being okay because I think we have a good cast, but they're just not written and fleshed out well enough at all. And then there's several like sequences I enjoyed, and the environment itself is really fun to be in. I love the Jurassic Park theme as well, Caleb. However, once again, there's just missed potential. You're wanting more. It's predictable in the wrong way. And so I want to trend negatively, but I feel I would have been bullied into it. And I enjoyed my experience yesterday, so I'm at a 3 right now.
I
So
can live with the
close.
three. I can live with the three.
Okay, well, we'll go ahead and wrap it up there. Well, as always, we obviously appreciate you guys listening. Please check out our social media platforms for more content, short form content, and whatnot. But as always, thank you guys for listening, and we will catch you next time.